My mother-in-law paid for our vacation. Now she wants a refund?
I have an itemized receipt here of everything that you owe me.
Okay, so please tell me if I'm crazy or not. It's our daughter's birthday next week, and normally we go to Disney or Universal, but we just couldn't swing this year. Even if we didn't go to the parks, it just wasn't feasible. Resort prices have gone way up. By the way, this comes from Remarkable Sweet 3023, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, we explained this, and she understood. But then she started worrying and didn't want us to spend too much money on her birthday. It just broke my heart. And we tried to tell her not to worry about it. My mother-in-law has asked why she was so upset, so I explained. We had gone last year and stayed at a beautiful family resort with tons of activities. But mother-in-law and father-in-law weren't able to go with us. So mother-in-law suddenly wanted us all to go since they didn't get to go last year. She wanted us to go to the parks too, but we turned that down because it's just too much for our youngest right now. She's very easily overwhelmed and overstimulated, and it's been worse recently. But we really wanted them to go with us to the family resort, and she made it seem like she wanted to take us all, as in pay for it, since we obviously couldn't afford it. Then things got weird.
So wait, but she made it seem like? So did she ever say that, or was she just very insistent that y'all go? Because I haven't seen her really say that she'll pay for anything anywhere.
Then things got weird. They didn't want to get a second room. They only have 2-bedroom villas available, and the pull-out couches are gross. We tried to use it last year, and I fell into a dip in the bed. I couldn't get up without help, and it was covered in crumbs and dirt. We told them we weren't comfortable sharing a 2-bedroom with 6 people. We would have either been sharing the small second bedroom with the queen and a pull-out with me, my husband, and our 2 kids, while they took the huge master bedroom, or the kids would have to sleep on the couch in the living room. They're still very afraid of the dark, and more so in strange places, and our oldest has major anxiety. So we got the second room after some debate, but they were still being odd and making odd comments. Things like asking what they were going to do there since we aren't going to the parks, which we thought was odd, and our answer was, relax with your family and your grandkids. The response, we relax all the time. Then, out of nowhere, mother-in-law asked my husband if he thought the girls would be upset if they didn't go. Cue major confusion. My husband questioned them about why they didn't want to go, and they kept giving non-answers. So he told them if they don't want to go, they have to be the ones to tell the kids. They didn't say anything except that they didn't think the kids would care. My husband got them to understand that the kids would in fact care if they ditched us. In between this happening was my mother-in-law's birthday, but they went and spent all day at the casino. They stopped by around 9 p.m., right when our oldest and I were getting back from her sports practice. The girls had made cards and my husband got flowers, but I feel like she was disappointed and expected more. So I told her we would take them out to dinner in Orlando to celebrate her birthday. This was before I knew they wanted to back out of going. Now they said they would go as to not upset the kids, but I feel like they really don't want to go. Well, they've already told you they don't want to go. No, I feel like they don't really want to go. Like, yeah, they said that.
They've been like, we don't want to.
My husband and I feel like it's because there's no casino for them to go to. But on top of that, mother-in-law just told my husband this morning that we would have to pay them back for the hotel room. What the heck?
Yeah, so, again, I didn't hear them ever say anything about paying for the hotel room.
I think if it was just kind of like, maybe they were going to pay it, you should have been like, hey, are you guys paying? Because we can't afford this. Let us know.
We've all been in a situation like that. But you know what that situation demands? Clarity. But also, clarity, communication.
Clarity and communication.
They both work.
Am I wrong for being pissed about that? We wouldn't have booked it and told the kids had she not offered in the first place. And now I'm wondering if we would have gotten stuck paying her back for the park tickets as well as if we had given in to her wanting to do that.
So she did offer, because I remember very specifically the language in the beginning of the story was like that it was implied they were offering.
Yeah.
By being insistent that they go.
After we got our taxes back, we'll be fine, but that's not the point. We had made a point not to spend the extra money right now, which I thought was why she offered. I would have said no otherwise. So I told my husband I don't want to go anywhere with them at this point, and if the kids didn't already know, I'd cancel the whole thing. Now he's mad at me, saying I'm wrong and only want them to go for their money, but that's pretty much the point I'm making. We wouldn't be going at all if it weren't for my mother-in-law, and I explained to her that we could not afford it right now. So to get everyone excited about going after thinking we wouldn't be able to, then trying to back out of going less than a week before the trip, and telling us we have to pay for our own hotel room is just really messed up to do. and forcing us to go spend $1,000, a hotel and food, etc., that we didn't want to spend so that we don't let our kids down, because there's no way at this point that I'm going to tell them we can't. This is not a money issue for them. They're just fine in that department and spend their money frivolously all the time, but then get weird about money for other things.
Right, because they go,
Well, this is ours. We hoarded this money for ourselves, not for you and your children.
We're also trying to save money to go see my dad this summer out of state, who was just diagnosed with lung and brain cancer, on top of his COPD. I'm just so angry with them right now, and I really don't want to go on vacation with them, but now we can't let down our daughters.
whoever's got brain cancer and COPD, you should definitely take a trip with them because you're not going to be able to take a lot.
I
more.
think that you just have to go talk to your husband and say, like, hey, you know, like, I'm not saying that I want to use your parents for their money. I just was under the idea that they were paying for this, and we've already talked about this and we can't afford it. You know, like, we've already discussed this.
They tactically put you in this position. If you guys really can't afford it right now, like you said, you'll be fine after taxes.
Just take, like, the kids. I mean, you could always take the kids somewhere else, do something like fun that's cheaper.
I would just eat it, dude. I would eat
You
it,
would just go.
enjoy it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's over budget. As long as you're not putting yourself in like actual harm's way financially. There's a difference between like, I can't afford this right now and like, this will ruin our lives if we
Yeah,
do this.
sure.
Like, please do not do that.
In which case, like, never. Yeah.
But it's like let go and enjoy the heck out of that place with your kids.
I think that's a conversation that you have with your partner and say, hey, like, now that we know that we're paying for this and your parents are not paying for this, are we okay with losing this money? You know,
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
You should
having
be on
that
the same page
conversation.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then moving forward, don't
rely on
not-
the parents,
yeah.
regardless of what they say.
exactly
Just be like, oh, okay, no, thank you.
anticipate the rug pull.
Yeah. Would I be the a-hole if I told her how upset I am and that I feel like she tricked us into going? Or would that cause even more tension? I don't want to ruin our kid's birthday because I'm feuding with my mother-in-law, but I don't know if I can be the bigger person when all I want to do is be petty. The last thing I want to do is take my mother-in-law out for her birthday. The only thing I can say in her defense is that she also had cancer last year and went through chemo. She's now cancer-free, but we think it caused some behavior changes. But part of me wants to give her some grace. But the other part says that's not a good enough excuse. And there is an update.
I'm going to dip into the Bible of OK Storytime real quick. Clear communication early would have solved this conundrum.
Yeah, it's just
Or-
saying like, hey, are we on the same page about you paying?
At the very least, it would have made any sort of who's in the wrong questions unambiguous. It would be like the people who explicitly told you they'd be paying for all of this and can obviously afford it are now 100% in the wrong.
And also, I don't know if you should necessarily be like, yeah, well, you lied to me, blah, blah, blah. I think you could potentially go to your mother-in-law and say, hey, like, I think there was a little bit of a miscommunication. I had originally thought that you guys were offering to pay, and sorry if that's not what you meant.
Yeah, and you
But
can
just
say
like-
exactly why.
Yeah, and just
because
say
it
like,
does feel that way.
but there's an update. Yes, it was a misunderstanding and lack of communication, but it's always a lack of communication with my mother-in-law and my husband, and I said this to him multiple times. This isn't the first time she has failed to communicate properly and caused problems. Or my husband has failed to communicate properly with me and caused problems. And then I look like an ungrateful a-hole.
Where's your communication, OP? What? What are we talking about? You also didn't
Two-way
communicate well, right?
Two-way street. She has a problem with not being able to just say no or tell people the truth and then beats around the bush, making everyone else try to figure out what she means, which I don't do well with. I also find it very selfish that they're so worried about what they're going to do on a trip that's supposed to be about their granddaughter's birthday and family time. We don't mind if they go do their own thing, but to not want to go at all because they can't go to the casino? That's an assumption, not what they said, though. We both should have clarified, but there has also been a lot of tension between us for months. No, this is not the first time something like this has happened, and our kids know that. We usually are very honest with them in kid-friendly ways about what's going on. My mother-in-law said/did something during Christmas that really pissed me off that I don't want to get into. And she knows I was very upset with her, and my husband did back me up on it. But he's always in the middle trying to mediate. Either way, even if I did assume with good reason, because they offer to pay for hotel rooms a lot for us, which my husband usually turns down, because he doesn't want things held over his head, I don't think it was right. I'm not sure if my husband was the one to convince her to go. I wouldn't be surprised. But from my perspective, she's the one that said we should go after I explained we didn't want to spend the money on a hotel room. hence my assumption that she wanted to pay. If a friend came to me and said how they can't go on a trip because they can't afford it right now, I wouldn't go and start talking about how we should go on said trip and make it seem like I would pay because I know they can't afford it right now. Then turn around and try to back out of going and tell them they now have to pay for everything. That just doesn't seem right to me. To clarify, the 2-room situation, we always get 2 rooms unless we're sharing a large multi-level house. Sharing a hotel room with family might work for most of you, but not our family. No one likes living with my father-in-law. My father-in-law is easily irritated and constantly picks on my husband, and my husband has really bad anxiety and can be very defensive. This is supposed to be a relaxing trip, and it would not be if we shared a room. Our youngest is autistic, and so am I, and my oldest and her dad are ADHD.
Really quickly, I have to say, I'm guessing that this resort is maybe of the Disney variety.
No, I think that was, yeah. We are not an easy bunch to share a room with, and we like to have our own space so we don't feel like we have to walk on eggshells. My in-laws know this. We haven't shared a room in a long time, and I'm really not sure why my mother-in-law thought it would be a good idea. My husband and father-in-law sharing a space for prolonged periods would ruin the trip for everyone. And I won't be surprised if there's at least 1 to 3 disagreements between them during the trip. I decided to cancel the 2 rooms that I booked together. I booked them, not my mother-in-law. And I rebooked just one for us and told them if they want to go, they can book their own room. Although I really wish they wouldn't come at this point. I don't want them to break my youngest daughter's heart. She is very emotional and sensitive and doesn't deserve disappointment. But to those who think I give in to everything, I definitely don't. My in-laws spoil my kids more than I do, and sometimes I have to tell my in-laws now. My daughter would never trust us again if we cancel completely after us telling her we couldn't go, then telling her we are going, then to take it back again would break her. And at this point, it's too late to cancel it. Yeah.
And just
go.
really quickly, I know you don't want your kid to be disappointed that grandma and grandpa aren't there.
Yeah.
Lie to your child.
Say they're, I don't know. Say they're busy.
To your
They're
children.
Sick. I just want my baby to have an amazing birthday and be happy. All she wants to do is go to see the volcano erupt at Disney Springs. Literally. That's it.
That's literally
That's
all
it.
she wants.
We sat and watched it last time for at least 30 minutes straight before we convinced her it was time to leave. She could care less about going to the parks. We usually stay at an amazing family resort with tons of included amenities.
That kid's awesome.
It's just like, I just want to see it blow up.
Kid's like, I know what I like.
And
okay?
that's it, okay?
Sue me.
Sue me. I know what I like. I'm 8 years old and I know what I like.
I like geysers.
Someone on a local post I made said to have my in-laws take her by herself, but my daughter has serious separation anxiety. And my in-laws will never truly understand her or believe us when we tell them not to do something because it will upset her.
But it's a tried and true narrative of younger versus older generations.
Yep, they're like, she'll be fine. Just stop babying her.
Exactly. Just throw her in the river. She'll learn how to swim.
Thankfully, she started to speak up for herself, and she's not afraid to hurt anyone's feelings just to make them feel comfortable, while she is uncomfortable. We will be okay financially once we get our taxes back. There's just a lot of other things that money should be going to. But I think we will use most of it to go visit my dad over the summer. I care more about that than getting a new dishware or couch, which we really do need. Both are broken. My glasses also broke yesterday. No, right before I made this post, and the dishwasher 2 days ago. Ooh, that sucks though. Glasses are not cheap and you need them.
There are dishwashers.
That's also true. Don't necessarily need them. They do make life a lot easier.
You got 2 dishwashers right here.
So as much as I would be okay with not going, I just can't do that to my kids. Our oldest would completely understand, but our youngest would be devastated, and I don't want that to be a core memory. So I'll suck it up and play nice for her. Let her see the volcano. Let us see it erupt. My sister thinks that my mother-in-law is jealous of my relationship with my husband and how much we love each other and how he protects me and stands up for me. And that she likes to stir the pot sometimes and just has a weird competition with me in her head. Her relationship with her husband is not a loving one. He is very controlling, and we're both convinced she's actually a sapphic, but too scared to admit it to herself, which is just horribly sad, but it makes sense for how she grew up and her generation. But you know what's not horribly sad? The fact that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search OK Storytime.
Makes me glad every time.
Makes me so freaking happy.
I'm like,
man. But there is a little bit left to the story. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm glad that y'all still went. I'm glad everything was good. The vacation went fine. You did it. You didn't put your guys, in financial danger. But you gotta just know moving forward that these parental units are not to be relied upon. Unless it's in like writing, like a contract. Explicit, clear communication.
I think probably there was a lot of miscommunication, but I think it definitely is still annoying that they even implied it. And I think you have a right to be annoyed about that. I think it's just going forward, you can't rely on these people, unfortunately, which sucks, but is the truth.
And if they ask why, just be like, oh yeah, this.
You made me
This
think
is why.
that you were going to help us and
Yeah.
you didn't.
I don't
Oh,
believe
yeah.
in walking on eggshells most of the time.
No.
Sometimes it's
Yeah.
important. Sometimes it's necessary. But oftentimes it's like, the truth shall set you free. You're not in charge of how other people feel about their life.
Exactly. But there is a little bit left. They don't ever have spicy sleep, and he's cheated in the past, but they both decided to stay for whatever stupid reason. This is what my husband tells me and comes from things his dad has told him, which is just super gross to tell your kid, adult or not. But they're good grandparents, and my kids love them.
Okay.
Okay. They can make their own decisions on it when they grow up. They're already aware of my father-in-law being a grumpy a-hole and prefer my mother-in-law to him, and they aren't afraid to tell him he's being a grumpy a-hole in different words.
Grandpa, you being stinky.
You're being a stinky little grandpa.
Grandpa being stinky.
But that's the end of that story. My friend asks for opinions, then gets mad when she receives them.
You don't like what you're hearing.
I'm a bridesmaid in my friend's wedding in June. Some backstory, my friend is currently in university and has an upcoming medical school interview, so she's been very stressed. By the way, this comes from Jungle Juice 172, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, since she got engaged in the summer, she has no idea what she wanted to do for colors. I and the other bridesmaids suggested she order some swatches from Azazi so she could start building a color palette. At Christmas time, she still hadn't determined her colors, but she wanted to go shopping for her flowers at a local silk florist. Originally, she wanted to design her own bouquet, but before even going shopping for those flowers, she ordered $400 worth of flowers from Temu? Like fake flowers?
That's like for Temu flowers, that's got to be an absurd amount of
Oh my
flowers.
goodness. All of which she isn't using now. Now that she has her flowers picked out, she still can't come to a decision on colors for her bridesmaids' dresses. She originally wanted to get dresses from Park and Fifth, so she went to the store and tried them on herself and loved them. Her sister, who is her maid of honor, hated all of the dresses because of the style, form-fitting and silk. This past weekend, I got a text from the bride to show me the colors she had chosen. There was a dusty lilac, agave, yellow, blue, and peach. She asked which color I would feel comfortable wearing. I said any color she wanted me to wear, I'd more than happily wear. She then said that wasn't good enough and that she wanted my opinion. I said again that any color would be good. So she picked purple for me, and that was good enough by me. She has said to us bridesmaids multiple times that we can pick whatever dress we want as long as we're comfortable. But then she asked me to send her the top dresses I liked so she could pick. I agreed and sent her the ones I liked. She asked out of all of them which was my favorite. So I told her. And then she said that it wasn't hers and she preferred a different one. Why did you ask?
She got you with the curveball.
Yeah. I said to her that I wouldn't be as comfortable in that one if that's what she was concerned about, but I would happily wear it. She asked for some time to think about it and said she would get back to me. About an hour later, she was freaking out after thinking she found her bridesmaid dress colors and then realizing they didn't look good with her flowers. So she asked for advice, and I said if she went with her gut and stuck to only agave, it would look beautiful with her other color, navy. But then she said she should have simplified her flowers if she wanted bright colors. Why is she asking your advice?
This whole thing is just pick a lane.
Yeah.
Drive in it.
It became a whole thing, and she can't change her flowers now because she already has them. I also explained to her that out of 1,000 photos a photographer will take, 10 to 15 will be with her bridesmaids. Also, her photographer has a very muted style, so that'll also change the colors in a picture. Then, all of a sudden, she flips a switch while I'm telling her that all of these ideas are very pretty and will work. She then says, I think agave is the way I want to go. I think it'll look great on everyone, and I'm not asking this time. I'm just going to be telling. At that point, I was so confused because she wanted our opinions as to which color we liked. Only 2 of the bridesmaids got to pick what they liked. I told her I would wear anything. Then she said that she doesn't want to come across as pushy. Aw, I guess we don't always get what we want. And I told her she wasn't being pushy. Finally, I asked if she was looking for opinions or for us to tell her that we didn't like the color she wanted us to wear. It's her wedding, but she's so wrapped up in what other people will think that it's inhibiting her ability to make a decision. I said the only thing that's making her sound pushy is when she tells us we can wear whatever dress we want, but then she wants to pick the dress. I explained that if she wants us to feel comfortable, that's not how you go about that.
Pick a lane.
At that point, our fiance texted the other bridesmaids to tell her to casually mention to me that I was being rude and that the bride was incredibly offended that I didn't like her favorite dress. Because I liked my favorite dress. But the bride never communicates when she's offended about something. It ended up being a whole thing, and I later apologized to her for coming across as aggressive. But I also said to her that if she's seeking opinions and advice, she can't keep getting mad when someone gives her advice or opinions. Bear in mind, for my wedding, this girl is also my bridesmaid and told me the dresses I wanted for bridesmaids were ugly and she wouldn't do her hair how I wanted it done. She later tells me she won't punt me out of the wedding and that my opinions and advice are incredibly valuable to her. But every time she asks for my opinion, she just gets mad at me.
Gotta love that.
So I've determined she's seeking validation and just wants everyone to agree with her all the time.
Correct.
That's my Bridezilla story. This is incredibly exhausting to me. And there is an update. But do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, if you're going to have a wedding, it's your wedding.
Yeah.
So you decide what it looks like and don't worry about what other people are going to think or want. Just worry about what you think and what you want.
Exactly. Update. This weekend, the bride had her bachelorette party. We're from Manitoba. So it's the bridal party's job to plan and pay for the bride to attend. The weekend began on Friday at 7 p.m. We all drove to the bride's condo where her and 2 of the other bridesmaids live. We went to Activate and had a blast. We came back after that and had snacks and drinks and did a lingerie shower for the bride, ended with some games, and went to bed. Saturday was where crap hit the fan. We went for brunch in the morning and then went on a pedal pub. The bride decided it would be a fantastic idea to order 2 punch bowls, margarita and mojito, at the first location, and she had about 15 cups of it.
Oh, Lord.
Whew. She was wasted by our first stop, but it's her batch. She can enjoy herself.
Are you enjoying yourself after that much alcohol?
Then we had 2 other stops where she continued to drink. And then some of the girls wanted a sangria tower. They all hated it, but had to drink it anyways. The walk back to the vehicles was slow for the bride. Yeah, I can imagine so. We asked if she'd be okay and ready to go to a Mexican restaurant for 8. No, she said yes, so we continued on. Girl, no.
Why are we listening to the wildly intoxicated person's opinion?
The crazy. Then the bride started puking.
Huh.
Shock.
Don't worry, she's just making space for that dinner you're going to at 8.
The friend driving us had to pull over 4 times for the bride to puke. At that point, I'd stay pulled over.
It's time to go home now.
Yeah. Some of us suggested maybe ordering pizza, getting into comfy clothes, and watching movies instead of going to this Mexican restaurant that would turn into a club at 10 p.m. The bride refused and ended up passed out on the bathroom floor back at her condo. I had to go get her some electrolytes. She also puked 2 more times at home.
You know, this is really giving the energy that someone is dreading getting married.
Yeah, this does not seem like she's excited. We ended up getting ready to leave for the restaurant over an hour later than planned because of the bride passing out. Like, this isn't normal behavior. Something is wrong. Not a big deal. Now, keep in mind, the bridesmaid that planned most of this bachelorette trip is pregnant in her first trimester and was dealing with a terrible cold as well. So we got to the restaurant and the bride was angry that it was their late night menu because it was after 9 p.m. She also didn't want to drink anything. This is important to know for the rest of the story.
Well, she should be wanting to drink lots of water.
So we eat some appetizers and wait for the restaurant to turn into a club. Now, the girls that were there for her all didn't know we were clubbing except for 2 of them. So when we heard about this, some girls were confused. So 10 p.m. rolled around and the dance floor opened up. The only things the bride wanted to do on her bachelorette weekend were get wasted and dance. She certainly nailed the first one, but she wouldn't dance until 12 a.m.
Why?
At that point, she had made the entire group annoyed because we drove all the way to this place that she loves just for her not to want to dance. Out of 9 girls, 6 of us all hate clubbing, but we were all there to do what she wanted. So her sister, who was her maid of honor, explained to her that if she wasn't going to dance, we would be leaving.
Wow, that's her sister being there and like not cutting off this situation before it got to this point is wild.
That's not, it's like this is that's the person who can be like, I don't care if you get mad at me, we're going on. It took another half hour of getting the bride out on the dance floor, and at this point, the bridesmaid who planned everything was nauseous from the smell of vaping and needed to go outside, and she asked me to come with her. That's when she started crying. I asked her what was wrong, and the bride, who is this bridesmaid's future sister-in-law, had said to another girl that she just wanted me and her to leave because we weren't even dancing with her. We had danced a bunch, but the pregnant one was cramping, tired, and nauseous and felt that everything she was doing wasn't good enough for the bride. By the way, it's always good for us if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to the story. Any final thoughts about this whole bride situation, Dakota?
I would say someone should have cut her off.
Yeah.
Or at least, like,
when she was at home, passed out at her condo, and she wakes up, she's like, let's go out again. You go, no, sorry, we don't think it's safe.
Yeah.
Sorry, girl.
Let's
we don't
go
think
back
it's
to
safe.
sleep. We already ordered pizza. We can't go. The club's closed.
And she goes, oh, why do you guys hate me? This is my day. You go, I know. I'm sorry, but we don't think it's safe.
You say it was your day until you had 17 drinks.
Yeah, sorry, we don't. Yeah, and then you just keep. And she goes, oh, you hate me. You're so selfish. I never want to see you again. Yeah, I understand. You're feeling disappointed. That's safe. That's what should have happened. Shouldn't have gone to the club. At the end of it all, we left at 1:30 a.m. Everyone was mad at the bride for making such a scene, and then of all the things, wanting to go clubbing and not even get tipsy. She wasted everyone's time and wasn't grateful for anything that was planned for her. She complained the entire time and made all of us feel horrible for trying to plan something fun. Now that this weekend is done, we're counting down for when her wedding is over. This has been a crap show. Yowza.
Wowzers.
And that's the whole story. You need to have a conversation with her.
Yeah, I would be like talking to her sister, being like, hey, so that was really intense, right?
Yeah.
Does she maybe not want to get married?
Yeah, well, like, does she have a drinking problem? What's going on?